All right, guys, so today we're talking about should I always talk about? But we're going to talk about how your self concept or your belief system filters out the evidence you seek and notice in your reality. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. Hey everyone, my name is Kim Velez. If you're new here, welcome. I guess you would call myself a mindset coach. I'm also a licensed mental health therapist, but I do not practice therapy any longer since I transitioned into coaching. And what we talk about on this channel is literally the best advice on the planet and suggestions and action steps and things you can actually do to reprogram your mindset in order to win in life, whether it's manifesting a specific person, changing your self-concept and love. Those are the things I'm really known for. But I'm moving into the money arena as well and basically just creating the dopest life possible, because it's not just about a relationship or just about, money. It's about having it all. It's about feeling good about yourself while you get to manifest the wildest dream life ever. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you like and subscribe and share, because we get shit done on this channel. Okay, so before we dive in, of course, I have 3 freebies always available for you guys. There's a 21-page workbook on self-concept and love. There is also a free, I don't remember how long the training is, all about, if you're really struggling manifesting your specific person. I've personally done manifested in multiple SPs multiple times, too many times that I can even count. So it's very easy for me in the sense of calling them back into your reality. The work I had to do was really working on my self-concept to know I was worthy to actually receive what I wanted. So I'm really supportive in all that. And then I also have an amazing freebie. It's a 33-minute training. If you're someone who wants to really check their mindset, if they're a business owner, whether it's online or brick and mortar, or you want to become one. I just really shared what I have personally noticed about myself, more in the coaching process of moving from a brick and mortar private practice therapy business into building an online social media presence, and kind of what I went through, my experience and the mindset traps in that process that it didn't really hinder me, right? Because I'm still getting what I want. I'm still manifesting an up level and helping the world more and more every day. But it probably delayed it, but whatever, we all have to go through it. And so I just want to share them with you so that you can either avoid it or you start noticing like, yo, this is exactly what I'm doing. Let me stop. All of that information can be found in the description area below. Okay, so we know that self-concept is how, or maybe you don't know, but if you don't know, self-concept is how you see yourself in relation to whatever area of your life. It's really in relation to what it is you desire. This is why when you have an amazing self-concept when it comes to certain areas of your life, that means the story you have about yourself in relation to that area of your life is favorable. So then it's easier for you to manifest the desired outcomes you typically want in that area of your life. You tend to have more favorable patterns that have manifested physically in your 3D reality in that area of your life, because you don't have a belief system that says I'm not worthy to have this, I'm not good enough, that this doesn't happen to me. When we have the opposite, that means we have a poor self-concept. That means we have been programmed. How we see ourselves in relation to this area of our life is not favorable. And that's where we manifest in a lot of emotional pain, a lot of struggle in our life, and physical evidence in the 3D on a continuous basis that supports that emotional struggling story that I'm not getting what I want and I'm not worthy to have this. And we just rinse and repeat it over and over until we awaken and actually start reprogramming our mindset to believe a different truth about ourselves. So when we're doing this, you have to keep remembering, like, so many people don't really understand, and I'm not bashing because I fucking get it. There's a lot of misinformation out here. A lot of people are teaching this stuff that has huge followings that are missing the fucking mark. They're not awakened. They really don't understand the process of this. And they fill our minds, unfortunately, with a lot of excess crap that doesn't help us, that is pointless, that's irrelevant, that we really don't even need to hear, because it does nothing to help us reprogram our mind to help you get everything that you want. So thoughts do create your reality, not your feelings, by the way. Your thoughts actually create your feelings. So when you change your thinking and you support that thinking over and over, and it becomes more of a dominant pattern, you will start to notice an internal state shift, and you'll start embodying the new version of you that has a better self-concept in that area of your life. So having said all of that, what is happening when you first start affirming this new story of you, or affirming whatever area of your life that has not worked out well for you, that you have high doubt in, that you really believe in more, that it's going to be hard, or you can't have it, or you're not worth it, more than you do believe that it's going to be easy, you get to have it, and you are worth it. So when you believe in that old programming more, then that's when we feel the resistance to our new story. That's, everybody goes through that. Nobody can bypass that. So part of this process is understanding, when I start thinking my new thoughts, I will start seeing stuff reflected in my reality based off what is being focusing on in my mind. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've reprogrammed yourself in a week. It doesn't mean that you actually believe this more now than you did, before. You still believe more in your old self-concept and the old story of your reality more. So this is why you persist, and I talk about this heavily on my channel because so many other teachers don't, and again, they're keeping you guys stuck in the trap of manifesting in the same shitty cycles where it doesn't stick, you don't change, nothing changes. So we're not doing that on this channel. So what you really want to understand and do is know that before I tell you that, when you're starting to affirm a new story, whether it's about more money, whether it's about your specific person, manifesting an ex-back, a new relationship, doesn't matter, all of the above, your better health, if it hasn't changed in your 3D reality, or you start seeing it being reflected back to you in your 3D reality, but it's not consistent, you don't believe it, then it doesn't mean you're not going to get what you want. It just means you haven't reprogrammed your mind yet. And this is how powerful you are, that your thoughts do create, but your beliefs override the thoughts, because your belief is really saying, okay, yeah, I see the evidence, but I don't believe it. And if that continues to be your dominant story, I'm not saying if you have that thought once in a while, it probably won't affect it negatively, or if it does, it affects it really quickly and out, and you still get what you want. But we're talking about when you dominantly believe that, when you don't trust it, when your dominant state is, it doesn't feel normal for you, which is what Neville talks about, feeling it real, that it needs to feel normal for you. It's not normalized for you to know this about yourself. Then your brain, even though you're affirming the new story and thinking the new story, which is the same thing, by the way, affirming and thinking is the same thing, your brain is going to keep seeking the evidence of your belief system. So this is how you know what your belief system still is what you actually are noticing in your 3D reality more of, and what you're believing more of. So when we're ignoring the 3D, it's not that you are not understanding that, oh, this just manifested in my reality. Like, I just had something literally happen to me yesterday, actually this week, and then the final straw was yesterday when it came to my money story. And I have a very good, favorable money story, but I keep leveling up my money story as well as my self-concept story and romantic relationship story, and like it just keeps expanding and getting better and better in me, and your 3D's constantly shifting and moving and reflecting that. So what was interesting is I had people in my reality that were in my reality. Two of them were only my people that did services for me that I paid for. One set was only in my reality for like maybe the last 5 or 6 months. The other person had been in my reality for over 2 years. And what I started noticing and paying attention was my own money story and how I was treating money. Now, I love money, okay? I don't got a problem with money. But what I noticed is there was some parts of me that was kind of disrespectful and careless with money. And again, to each their own. You can still be rich as fuck and be careless and disrespectful with your money. Like, it's really your belief system that's creating it. But what I noticed with me personally is I started noticing things in my reality because I had to support that belief system about me and money, okay? And I started noticing people overcharging me, people taking advantage. And I don't have a negative story that people don't have integrity, they're not trustworthy, things like that. So it has nothing to do with that. It was coming out as my money story, I believe, for myself. So anyways, I got rid of those people because I really didn't want to waste the time recreating them, because I'll just manifest in better. Like, I'm not even worried about that. It'll be quick and easy. But the final straw that happened, this was all coming to a head in a matter of like 2 or 3 days, was I manifested, I moved into a new house and there was only one key. And I knew I needed to make a copy of the key. So I kind of manifested this because I did have a couple thoughts where I was like, girl, hurry up and make the copy of the key before you lose it. Well, I didn't. I wasn't valuing it. I wasn't making it a priority. And guess who lost the fucking key? And I had to call a locksmith and it was a big fucking ordeal and it took forever and I paid a shit ton of money and I was so upset. And then here's the catcher though. I found the fucking key, of course, an hour after the locksmith and paying all the money. So I was finding myself mad at myself in that moment, like, you should have handled this. You know, if you would have just looked in this bag, why didn't, you know what I mean? Like things we do to ourselves, like looking back and like, shit, I should have done X, Y, and Z different. So I caught myself playing that story. So I nipped it in the bud and I just said, Kim, you know what? I forgive myself of any past mistakes I made. That was a version of me that she wasn't prioritizing things. You know, she was feeling frantic and hectic and chaotic because there was a lot of things since I just moved in the house. There was a lot of things going on within my business. I just had a lot on my plate and I could feel it, right? So anyways, I just had to remind myself that I am human. I'm not fucking perfect. I'm going to manifest little things like this sometimes. But the good news is this, is that even though my brain is seeing the evidence of this belief system, I know I have the power to change it. So I'm sharing this story with you for two reasons. One is to show you how fast you can change things. Show you what happens when you observe patterns and it helps you wake up to maybe a belief system you weren't aware of so you can change it and then it will no longer be an issue for you, and how to change your reality really for the better. So now that I've kind of like addressed that part of my money system, now my money is going to even up level more and I'm manifesting in different versions. I already manifested in so it was my former hairstylist that I got rid of. It's a whole backstory, but my best friend does hair and she's an amazing hairstylist and I used to go to her years ago, but I was being lazy because where her office is probably like a 25 minute drive for me. And I just didn't want to deal with that with how hectic my schedule had been in the past. So then I was talking to her about what I was thinking was going on with these hairstylists and she confirmed it. Of course she had to because it's my reality, right? But anyways, so I'm going back to her because I was like, she will never rip me off. And I trust her because I've known her for 20 years. She's my best friend and she will never ruin my hair, you know? So anyways, it worked out very well and I'm happy for it. And then the other one, the other person I decided to get rid of, she was completely overcharging. And it wasn't just me, it was a lot of people for her service. And I thought like, I'm not all right with that. You know, I really value my money and it's not that I don't want to undercut anybody because I don't want to be undercut with my own services and I understand all that. But there's a difference of, I believe, kind of exploiting people versus charging what you're worth. There's a difference. So I decided not to use this person anymore. And then I manifested in someone who is trustworthy, can do the same thing, and is a hell of a lot better priced in my opinion. So having said all of that, that is about how fast I shifted my reality, right? And even though I still had some of these negative things popping up in a couple of days, all of this literally happened in a couple of days. But sometimes this is what happens in your reality. You know, it's not that every time you're manifesting an up level or anytime you're manifesting anything, it doesn't have to be chaotic and crazy before you experience what you want. But sometimes it does. Sometimes it's kind of like the last little big belief system that you were kind of holding on to in your subconscious that finally popped itself up and made it visible to you that you weren't aware of. And then you overhaul it and then shit can shift really fast, right? And it did. Because what happens is your brain is always seeking the evidence in your reality to support your belief system. So in the beginning, I didn't realize I was really being overcharged and taken advantage of. And there was things with my money story that I knew were true about kind of respecting, because I was just like, whatever, I'll make more, because I do. But anyways, for me personally, I just didn't want to have that kind of relationship with money. And I know some of you might be like, well, she's kind of crazy, she's saying this, but I don't give a fuck because it's me. I decided I really want to have a respectful relationship with money. Like, money offers me a lot of support and allows me to help so many fucking people that I would not be able to help financially if it didn't have my back, if money wasn't showing up and just really like supporting the fuck out of me, right? So I wanted to have that beautiful relationship back with it. Like, I do really value it. I do respect it. I don't want to mishandle it. I don't want to squander it. You know, like, I don't want to hang on to it tightly, but like, I want to nurture it and love it and let it know in me that I do value the relationship. I do see the support. I do love how endless and overflowing it always is, and that I'm going to treat it with respect and value it. So when you start changing your story, then your brain, you might still seek the evidence, because that's how the brain is. The brain says whatever your dominant belief system is your state of being, because your thoughts and emotions create your belief. And if they're aligned, then that is your state of being. So if you're seeking evidence, or the evidence you're noticing heavily in your reality is not favorable, it's just letting you know that that's the state you're in. That's the belief system that's still dominant in you, that's saying, see, I'm not getting what I want. See, I'm still not being chosen. See, people are still taking advantage of me. See, I still don't respect money. See, I'm still not, whatever, X, Y, and Z, right? And so you have to keep reprogramming your mind, like I always say, to keep shifting and stating a different reality. Now, there's many different ways you could do that. You can state a different reality by saying, you know what, as of now, all of this is changing in my favor. As of now, I'm no longer having that negative story. This is what I'm going to have instead. And then you start thinking the new thoughts, focusing on the new outcome that you want. You start saying what you want, which is pretty much the opposite of the old belief system you had, and just changing it. And you persist in that, because eventually you'll know when you've shifted. You will know when your dominant belief system, your dominant state of being is the new one, because your brain's going to seek the evidence to support the new one. So now my brain isn't seeking evidence of me disrespecting my money. My brain is now affirming and finding the evidence supporting my new money story of how much I really value and respect my relationship with money, that it values me and respects me and is always there for me, and I'm doing the same with it. And I'm continuing to watch it, keep it growing and multiplying even more and more. So it's really important to understand, if you keep, I'm going to repeat myself, but it's important to get this. If you keep noticing and seeking out the evidence that says you're not getting what you want, which is what used to happen with me in my SP2, is that even when earlier in the days when I had really bad self-concept and I was in the process of reprogramming it, even when he was conforming and coming in and giving me what I want, I couldn't accept it. My brain literally on its own rejected it and went heavily and focused on the one little thing or the two little things he didn't say or he didn't do. And that's what I fixated on, and obviously manifested more of that, because it matched my self-concept. It matched my story of me. It matched my belief system of my self-concept in relation to men in my love life. So until I changed that, I couldn't seek out the dominant different evidence, or the dominant evidence in my reality that supported the favorable belief system, because it wasn't my belief yet. So even though our thoughts create our reality, if your belief system goes against what you want, you can still manifest in your thoughts, but they're not going to stick. You're not going to overcome the belief system that's going to prevent you from really leveling up and actually experiencing the fulfillment of everything that you want. So pay attention, but just kind of notice yourself and keep observing, like, where is my brain going? What am I fixating on? And if it's heavily, not sometimes, because your brain's just going to sometimes focus on something, but then you're going to switch it. If it's something negative, you say, no, that's okay. This is on its way out. This is what's happening instead. It'll show up. I'm not even worried. If you can do that easily and actually know that, you're golden, right? But if it's something where your belief system says, no, this doesn't happen, I don't get what I want, I can't trust this, then it's going to keep seeking out the evidence in your reality to support that. So keep working on your self-concept. You are the key, my friend. No one else is in your reality. All right, I hope this video found you well and that you got some amazing information out of it, and I'll see you soon. Bye.